Retcon, it is your boy Trey.
Your boy Jay.
Quick discussion about the casting of Superman and Lois for James Gunn's and the DCU's Superman Legacy. I already forgot his name, man. What's his name?
David Corn Sweat.
Corn Sweat. That's right. And then
Yeah,
the Lois is Rebecca something.
Rebecca. I was trying to memorize it because I haven't really heard of either one of them on
Neither
really.
one of them.
Yeah, like David Corn Sweat. He is he's on a HBO. Well, it's now called Max series. We Own the City. I think something to that like.
Okay.
But I don't know anything else he's in, and I think that's kind of, and not to kind of get ahead of it, but I think that's how most of these movies sometimes do. They'll start with characters, well, actors or actresses, actors and actresses that aren't really well known like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I believe Henry Cavill, he wasn't really that well known.
Nah, he wasn't.
Before Man of Steel, and then Man of Steel opened the doors, and now he's in all these other things, been Mission Impossible and all that. So it seems like that type of practice is still happening within movies, superhero movies for the most part. And I think it's a good element that works to it, because if you have somebody who's like of high caliber, playing these characters, sometimes those characters themselves can get overshadowed by the actor or actress that's playing it, depending on how it's all shaped. But yeah, I have no idea David Corn Sweat at all. But I mean, he I know you have put one up already as far as your quick take on it. Can you speak to that a little bit more? Like, does he? Let's answer the first question. Obviously, does he look like Superman?
Oh, he looks just like Superman. He looks.
Right.
It's funny, man, because I saw a lot of people saying he looks like Henry Cavill.
That was my initial reaction.
But Henry Cavill looks just like Superman.
Right. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Facts.
I'm not mad at it. I mean, they all kind of look alike. The only one that didn't look like Superman to me was Brandon Routh. He still doesn't look like Superman to me. But
so
everybody,
curl didn't help.
yeah, it was just bad. It was they kept saying he looked like Christopher Reeve, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. I still don't see it. But to your point, though, it's funny because Superman is always an unknown, but Batman is always somebody you know.
Right. No, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about it like that. Right, because Michael Keaton was an established actor already.
Yep.
Before being Batman. Christian Bale the same way. Of course, Ben Affleck speaks for itself. I mean, dude had already won an Academy Award for directing Argo before he, donned the cape and cowl. But you're right, like Superman, the history of casting Superman has always been with unknowns. Christopher Reeves falls in that category, and then we have, of course, again, Henry Cavill. Even with Smallville, even with Tom Welling, like, nobody, he, before that, there wasn't any type of footprint as far as in TV or movies for that matter before Smallville. But they worked, and those characters, those actors were able to immerse themselves in that role. Brendan Roth, I mean, right, he didn't look like Superman. I mean, and there's so much criticism around that movie, Superman Returns, rightfully so. But even to that degree, he wasn't really known like that either. So no matter what they do, it seems like this is the continual thing that they're going to do with Superman actors, live action actors. They're going with unknown. But to your point, he absolutely, David absolutely looks like Henry Cavill. In my head, I meant no disrespect in my head, but I said, man, that's a baby Henry Cavill.
It is a baby Henry Cavill.
Baby Henry Cavill.
Okay. It is a baby Henry Cavill. I got a theory though, man. Because what I keep saying to myself is, what did Henry Cavill do so bad that they won't use him for anything?
Right.
They didn't even have him with the Justice League and the Flash.
No, just a CGI figure taking care of a mountain or whatever, or not mountain, volcano, whatever that was he was handling. Yeah, I feel like, honestly, Henry Cavill himself did nothing wrong. It feels to me like it was just the timing of everything. And a lot of people, depending on where you're reading your information, as far as, him popping up on Black Adam, there'll be some people out there, the websites, bloggers will say that it's Dwayne Johnson's fault. because he was using that as a power play to make sure that he solidified Black Adam verse, if you will,
Yeah.
because he wanted Black Adam to have its own universe, the Adam verse and all of that. And Henry Cavill was a big part of that. Well, excuse me, Superman was a big part of that because he wanted a Black Adam versus Superman movie. He wanted all of that. So I really feel like it was more so maybe some of that. And plus, with James Gunn and them, they're really trying to make sure that there's a separation between the Snyderverse and what they're doing. And that, to that degree, I really feel like that's probably what's hemorrhaging the Flash and what may happen with Aquaman's sequel movie, as well as Blue Beetle, because these are all connected to what used to be, right?
So the one thing that I know James Gunn said about Blue Beetle, he said Blue Beetle is the first DCU character, but that's not the first DCU movie. Superman Legacy is. So they're going to pull Blue Beetle into this DCU. But, at this point, like, anything affiliated or associated with Zack Snyder is done. Like, none of those people are coming back. Gal Gadot is not coming back. I think Jason Momoa is going to come back.
Yeah.
But so at the end of the Flash, just to go back to that, they were in a different universe at the end of that movie. So I think the new universe has been reset to where my guess would be Jason Momoa is going to be Lobo. And I think he's going to show up in Legacy.
Okay.
I think he's going to show up in Legacy.
I could see that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, and with this casting, it's so there's really not much I can say, good or bad, honestly, because I don't know this actor like that or the actress that's going to be playing Lois Lane. So let me ask you, like, has there been a bad Lois Lane at all, live action TV or movie, in your opinion?
Yeah, Kate Bosworth was terrible. And Superman Returns, she was awful.
I said you up for that one.
But I don't think it was her fault. Like, I think the biggest crutch to that movie was that they were trying to make it the Christopher Reeve, Richard Donner verse. So they were supposed to be the same characters from Superman 1 and 2 from way back in the day. And they just, like, Margot Kidder kind of solidified herself as Lois Lane at that point.
Yeah,
now you got to do something different. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have the same natural sass and, Lois was a boss, and she's a boss like that in the comics. So
Absolutely.
Margot Kidder really just kind of really embodied who Lois Lane was, and she's kind of the blueprint for Lois Lane from here on out. But Kate Bosworth just didn't have that gravitas. So it's like, okay, play it different. Like, even Amy Adams didn't play it like Margot Kidder, but she still was a boss, though. You know what I mean?
Right. And the thing about with Lois, and a lot of Superman super fans out there, comic book as well as the movie franchises, they know that Lois, she don't play. Like, she is not a pushover. She is about getting that story. It doesn't matter what it takes, which coincidentally, that's how she always ends up in dangerous situations where Superman got to show up at the last minute. I mean, but she definitely is that character through and through. Erica Durant, since we're talking about Lois Lane's, Erica Durant from Smallville, she did a great job portraying her. I really thought it was literally ripped off the comic books. She wasn't a pushover. And what I loved about it too, that they highlighted a lot, is that Lois, in the comic books, Lois put 2 and 2 together. It took her a long time. Now, mind you, it took her a very long time, but she finally figured out, wait a minute, Clark is Superman. It's never been where Superman has told Lois. It's like she always had suspicions, and because she's too inquisitive. And I think people pick on that aspect of the Superman mythos about Lois Lane. Like, she's this great investigative journalist, but you can't tell that this dude with the glasses on and off ain't Superman.
Yeah. But it's funny that you say that, because if you go back to Margot Kidder, her Lois did the same thing. There was a deleted scene from part 2 where she acted like she shot Clark with a gun.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he was like, whatever, it was blank. So I think you got to make that a part of who Lois is. The other thing that I'm hoping that they do, because this is no fault to Henry Cavill, right? I have my own thoughts about Henry Cavill, but I don't think his portrayal of Superman was his fault. I think that's the Superman that they wanted to make for that universe.
Right.
But they got to get back to, like, there's this, like, all shucks quality to Superman. And they got to get back to that. Like, Superman is not supposed to be dark, right?
He's a Boy Scout.
Right, he's a Boy Scout. He's in a lot of ways the opposite of what Batman is.
Yeah,
And
of
so you
course.
gotta brighten him up. You gotta like Superman is all about hope. He's all about no matter what, you can do it. Like he's supposed to be the ideal that we aspire to be. And they gotta make him that in this movie. And I think if they do that, man, like I went and watched a couple of interviews with both the David Corn Sweat dude and
Yeah, yeah.
God, I hate I don't know her name. I feel
Uh,
so bad
uh,
about that.
uh,
I gotta find it. Her name is Rachel Brosnahan.
Rach, okay, gotcha. Okay.
I went back and looked at some stuff. There was a clip of the David Cornsweat dude from a show.
Hmm.
He's an officer and he's trying to get a loan from the bank.
Yeah.
It feels like Superman.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It's like it's kind of all shucks. He's smiling. He's got
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
energy about him. And then I went to watch Rachel Brosnahan in an interview. They interviewed her on The View. This was like a week or two ago,
Hmm.
and they
Hmm.
asked her about her. And as soon as she started talking, I was like, man, that's Lois.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Okay.
Lois. She has that Lois energy. And I feel like honestly, man, James Gunn, if I'm gonna doubt anybody, it's not gonna be James Gunn.
That's facts. That's facts. Because like he's got a great track record. I don't believe, and unless someone comments on the page, make sure you do like, comment, and subscribe. Unless someone comments and saying otherwise, I don't know of any misses that he's had. I mean, he's done a great job with Guardians of the Galaxy. He did great with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
You know, the box office wasn't his fault because that was during pandemic, and that's when
right.
formerly called HBO Max, they decided to split things and have movies premiere not only in theaters but on the streaming service as well,
Yep,
which of course hinders numbers. But I get
yep.
what they were doing. They were trying to make sure if you because again it was pandemic, like everybody
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to go to the movie theaters like that. But it doesn't take
Yep,
away from James Gunn's track record, which is impeccable. You know, he's
yep,
Peacemaker. I'm sorry, I can't forget about
yep.
Peacemaker, which is crazy entertaining. I didn't think it was going to be good because I don't
Yeah,
know the character like that. But that speaks to what we always talk about. Like, show respect to these characters and who they truly are. And Peacemaker was exactly like that in the comic book. So
yeah,
James Gunn, I think my only apprehension, which is immediately getting dismissed, is I've seen what Gunn can do with comedic elements in the movies, and I'm just thinking like, will that work for Superman, or is he going to be able to? Because I don't want Superman to be too hilarious, right?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
he has a, and his movies can be raunchy. And, I mean, it
yeah,
works because it works for those characters. I just don't want a
yeah,
raunchy Superman. If that makes sense,
yeah. No, no,
That's
no. You're absolutely right. I would say, and I don't know, but the only thing I would say is like if you listen to James Gunn talk,
hmm
he doesn't sound like to me. Zack Snyder was like, okay, how do I make my Superman?
hmm hmm
Right? Even Batman to a degree, I just think he had a better understanding of who Batman was.
hmm
James Gunn talks about these characters like these characters exist on their own.
Right.
So
Okay.
like if you see these characters and how they move and how they work, like I'll take Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like when it needed to be dark, it was dark. When it needed to be light, it was light. When it needed to be emotional, it was emotional. And these characters, yeah, everybody could say something funny, but everybody wasn't a joke.
Right.
Outside
True.
of Drax. Outside of Drax.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Gamora wasn't playing at all. You know what I'm
Nah, you
saying?
right. You right.
She wasn't playing at all. And even if you go back and look at Suicide Squad, like the humor came from like Harley was funny.
Right.
Peacemaker was funny sometimes. But like if
Right.
you
Right.
look at the serious characters, they pretty much maintain being serious through the whole movie. And so to me, it feels like James Gunn, he feels like a fan. He feels like somebody who understands the characters. I mean, even when he's talking about this Superman legacy and all the imagery, and even with the other DCU stuff, with the imagery and the way he talks about it,
Yeah.
it feels like he respects the characters. And at the end of the day, as a comic book fan, as a superhero fan, that's all you really want. You want people to respect the characters. Like Harley felt more like Harley in the Suicide Squad than to me she did the rest of the time she was in the DCU.
Right, right. Birds of Prey, and then the regular Suicide Squad by David Ayer. Right, right. No, I definitely concur with that and agree. So that definitely, yeah. I mean, again, like I said, he got a great track record, and he
Yeah.
understands the characters, and you know, and again, it's dismissed quickly as far as any type of fear of what he's going to do with Superman. The last thing I want to speak on is absolutely, let's get the speculation going what the bad guy is. Now we got the Superman, we got our Lois Lane. I feel like I don't count Lex Luthor honestly because
I don't either.
He's a staple in the Superman mythos, period.
Yeah.
So if you have him in the background, I mean that's fine. I mean Smallville did it so gracefully, having Lex Luthor, which I love that dynamic. They had him and Clark as best friends, and then they separated, and it spoke so much more to their dynamic. So if they have Lex Luthor in it, fine, but who is the main bad guy, right? We've already seen Zod. Please don't do Zod no more.
Nah.
We got Doomsday. Okay, let's put him in the can, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get Brainiac up in there. Let's get Lobo. Matter of fact, I mean we can do Lobo. Let's get anybody other than. So I don't want Lex Luthor to be the main bad guy. Because we've seen that so much, and it's not necessarily getting played out, but it's just like, can we see someone else on the big screen get a shot?
Yeah,
I mean, he got Parasite. He got. He got tons of people. He got so many, right? He got Parasite.
He got Metallo.
Right, Metallo. Metallo would be a great one.
He would be great.
Right. So let's get somebody different. So I'm in anticipation of that. Do you feel okay? So we've already had a bad representation of Lex, right, in the Snyderverse.
Horrible.
Sorry, Jesse Eisenberg. You're a great actor. Awesome actor. And to speak to what you say, Trey, it may not be his fault. Right? Because Zack Snyder wanted to make his own Lex Luthor. But I feel like, do you feel like the bar isn't too high since it's kind of low with the last Lex Luthor interpretation being Jesse Eisenberg?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Lex Luthor, because you got to think, really, we haven't seen many Lex Luthors. It feels like we have, but we really haven't. We had Gene Hackman in the 70s and 80s, right?
Yeah, right.
We had, you remember the Adventures of Lois and Clark?
Yeah.
They had a Lex Luthor.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
Had a clone and all that.
Yeah, it was all kinds of stuff. And it was like, okay. And then you fast forward to like now, obviously you had the Jesse Eisenberg thing, but that wasn't really Lex Luthor to me. Like, I understand that's the character he was playing, but if we're talking about who Lex Luthor is, that wasn't who he was. I know what they were trying to do.
What about Kevin Spacey? Was he not Lex Luthor in Superman Returns?
Well, the thing is, I think Kevin Spacey got hampered by the same thing everybody else did, where he was supposed to be Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor.
Okay, gotcha.
Like, if you let Kevin Spacey, obviously all of the things that he's done over the wrong things that he's done, they're deplorable. But as a character and as an actor, if he was able to play Lex Luthor the way he wanted to play Lex Luthor, I think we would have got a better Lex Luthor. But no, I think I agree with you. I think that Lex Luthor, because the thing about Lex Luthor in the comics is that, one, he's a presence. So you always feel him. He's always around. But Lex Luthor plays the long game. Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Lex Luthor's like, no, let me go be the president and go do this and do this and do this and do this. It's not just real estate. I'm an evil person. It's like, no, he's a genius, man. He is a genius. And it's twisted genius. But dude, he plays the long game in this thing.
He does.
To your point about speculation, I think it's going to be Lobo's going to be the main villain.
Okay.
I think I think the Authority is going to be in the movie. You remember Superman and the Elites?
Yeah, that was a great series. Grant Morrison, he wrote that.
I think the Authority is going to serve the same purpose as the Elites did in that run.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be, I don't think Lobo is going to be like a super threat. I think he's going to be a threat in the movie, but I don't think he's going to be, I think they're setting up a broader thing. And I think what James Gunn is doing is, I think he's building his universe. And so he's going to drop things to expand it while we're watching the movie in real time. So yeah, Lobo might be there, but we got the Authority and we got all of this other stuff. And we're going to build this universe and surround Superman with all of this great stuff that leads into Batman Brave and the Bold and all of these other things he has. So I'm excited, man. I think that it feels like a plan.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Warner Brothers and DC, it just didn't feel like a plan. Well, it felt like a plan in the beginning, and then they scrapped the plan and had to throw something on the wall to see if it stuck.
And it's been all over the place, sporadic and just chaotic. And yeah, it's good to have some type of consistency that's coming down the pipeline. And I'm definitely have faith in James Gunn and Pete Sampras.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah,
For sure.
so we'll definitely see. It's fresh, so I'm just wanting to see if there's going to be memes calling my dude baby Henry Cavill. Like it's just, I mean, I look like his little brother. You know,
So
I mean, straight up, man. Like he did. Like as soon as I saw that, I literally took his picture and I pulled up Henry Cavill. I'm like,
yeah,
like, are they related? I looked on
yeah,
Wikipedia and everything. You know,
yeah,
people look on
dude.
Wikipedia for everything.
Yeah, when I
But
was looking for graphics for the video I put up, and I was
mm,
already seeing Henry Cavill and him in graphics put next to each other. It's like they
oh,
look just alike. They
right,
look
right,
just alike. They
right,
look
right.
exactly alike.
Right, and I
But
hope that suit going to be dope. I'm really, I'm interested with the word legacy, and I think about Superman's original costume with the red underpants on
yeah.
the outside. You know, people will clown it, but it really is iconic. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with that. What the suit's supposed to look like.
Well, here's the thing. I watched Superman, the original Superman, Superman the motion picture. I watched it a few weeks ago. I
Mhm.
didn't watch that movie one time and think about the suit.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? Like it didn't bother me. I didn't say, "Hey, man, that's I mean, was it cheesy? Maybe, but I think part of it is like I'm excited to see them get away from these armored, like weird suits that they make for these characters. Like, look, I
Mhm.
love Batman, but his suit just got progressively worse from BVS, which was probably the best bat suit I've ever seen on camera. They
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
started
yeah.
they started stacking this weird armor on it, and it was cheesy looking. And
Right,
then
right.
I liked the blue and the flash, but I didn't like the suit at all.
Yeah, no, no. Yeah, the suit was it was really tacky looking. Maybe it was the CGI that was the fault for that. Or maybe it could be that I still have Zack Snyder's Flash's costume in my mind
Oh
because
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I really like the realistic component of it, and I feel
yeah.
like they could have done that with the Flash too. But it just looked like a big old rubber rubber
It looked
balloon or
terrible.
something.
It
Yeah,
it just like a blob of something red, and
right,
everybody looked like the only. It's funny because the
right.
one costume from the hero side that looked good in that was I didn't even like Batman's suit at the end. Michael Keaton, I didn't like his suit either, but
Mhm.
Wonder Woman's suit looked great.
Right.
Wonder
It's hard
Woman's
to
suit.
mess that up, I think.
Well, it was the same suit. They haven't changed her suit. They
You're
haven't
right. No,
changed her
not
suit.
really. No, it's
Yeah,
been
so
consistent. So,
yeah, so it was good. It was good, but no, man, I really am excited. It's hard to tell with these actors. They look just like the characters.
correct,
You won't
correct.
know until you see the movie, or at least you see the first trailers and stuff. But
Right, right.
I have all the confidence in the world that it'll be good. The one thing I will say before we go,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what I hope they do is I hope they stop spending $500 million to make these movies,
Right, right,
because you spend $500 to make these movies, you got to make 800 to a billion just
right.
to break even,
Just to break even.
just to break even.
Right. And if you
It's
don't,
like,
it's
yo,
considered a flop. Mm,
it's considered a flop. It's like,
mm.
you know, keep those budgets low, man. Keep those
Right.
budgets low. So now I think the Flash is somewhere close to 300 and something million worldwide. Well, now
Mm.
300 million worldwide doesn't seem so bad when you spent 60 to make the movie.
Facts. Right. Let the numbers do the math and just keep it small because like the majority of the great movies out there, they didn't have a blockbuster budget. They had like, okay, this is what we got. We got 50 million. Let's make it work. And then we see them movies go to the stratosphere in far as numbers is concerned, gross, international as well as in the States. So yeah, I don't think you need to have $1 billion budget for Superman in order to make it great. I mean, Smallville was a TV show and is still regarded as one of the great iterations of Superman mythos of all time. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know
that's,
the tough thing is like making them fly,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
when you got to make them fly, then you got to make everybody else do something spectacular and all of that stuff.
Right,
But it's like
right.
if you spend, this is what people don't realize about how movies are made. If
Mhm.
they spend $250 million on the production of the movie. Well, they got to double that for marketing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you keep the cost low because you're gonna double it for marketing. The hope is that if you bring the right character to the screen, people will be excited about it, man. Like they got to get back to like, you don't need these third act CGI extravaganzas to make a movie good.
Right.
It's like, keep it simple. Like if the Flash happens and we don't have that huge CGI battle at the end, and we have something more intimate, and maybe he does find out that he in the future is Dark Flash, and now he and Dark Flash have to do something, right? Then it's like, oh, it's not. We don't have to make it this big, huge thing, and keep one VFX artist under the gun, man. They get treated like second class or third class citizens. And
they do.
It's like you just gotta. I'm hoping that that's the way they go. I really am. I mean, because the Suicide Squad couldn't cost that much to make.
Right.
There's no way.
Right. No. And it was good. And I also be thinking, like, I wonder if when they have, when they say how much this costs as far as the budget, do they include the actors and actresses, what they pay them? Is that included in that? I have no idea.
Usually it is included unless it's back end stuff, and you never really know what people's back end stuff is. But with these people being brand new, they're not making any money.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're not making any money.
And Donald, he got in the groundwork of MCU and just
right. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm excited about DC. I want DC to be good. And it's not a Marvel versus DC thing. I want all these movies to be great. You know what I'm saying? And I think if they get back to just making good movies, just make a good movie, man. I think everything will be all right. And I'm excited. I'm excited.
All right. Well, we heard it from Trey. He is very optimistic because we had recently done a Comic-Con and people were not buying any DC stuff. Like,
bro,
I mean, we saw one Batman, and was there other DC cosplay? I think everybody else was either anime or Marvel. It felt like
that was it. It was one Batman.
I think somebody was Kenny from South Park. Yeah.
Somebody was Kenny. It was a couple of Spider people.
Man,
around. Yeah. There was a couple of Spider people, but well, we can save that discussion for one of the podcasts. But
right.
I'm happy to see. I'm happy to see DC moving in the right direction. Now I just hope they bring in like Static Shock and some of those people. And I think because I do think that's what they're missing. They don't have a Spider-Man.
Right. And they need that. They need that on the screen, man. Well, all right. Listen, y'all. Agree, disagree. Tell us what you think. Who you think the main bad is going to be. Are you excited? Are you dreading it? Whatever it is, please make sure you comment. We enjoy talking to you guys about this stuff. So this is your boy Jay and Trey. Sign us off, man.
Check us out next week. Same Retcon time, same Retcon channel.
Bet. We out. God bless.